You ever heard the phrase, what's everybody's job is nobody's job? Try it at work. Somebody says, the boss says, hey, I need somebody to do whatever it is, sweep the floor. Most everybody's going to think, well, somebody will get it, but it won't be me. I know a guy that once, or used to say a lot, if not you, then who? If not now, then when? Let's look at encouragement. I'm Zach. This is The Average Christian, a project simply about what it means to have a relationship with God and how to live that out in practical terms. And we're also trying to keep ourselves accountable in this walk with God. So if you go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, a few verses here about one word, encouragement. Don't you love and enjoy being around people who just build you up? When you're around them, they make you feel better once you leave their presence. Isn't it great when you go to worship and you're around somebody who's upbeat, who came there to serve, and you enjoy, and I enjoy being served. I enjoy people who compliment. I enjoy people who lift up my spirits, who won't let me take the lead and drag them down at times. I have to take that responsibility as well, and I want to challenge you to do it as well, whether you're in worship, whether you're at work, wherever you are, to be an encourager. It's not just that some people are blessed with it. Look, for some, it comes a little more easy to be an encourager. That role of Barnabas seems to fit them, but all of us are called to do these things, and so I'm encouraging you to be an encourager. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 11, therefore encourage one another, build each other up, and build one another up just as you are doing. He comes down to verse 14, again, 1 Thessalonians 5. And we urge you, brothers, admonish the idle, encourage the faint-hearted, help the weak, be patient with them all. There are people who are weak in their faith. There are people who are young in their faith. There are people who don't understand as well as you do, who don't have the maturity in their relationship with God that you do. And your role and my role is to encourage them and to build them up. Just a few verses here. That's all I'm going to do in trying to give you this lesson. In Hebrews chapter 3 and verse 13, there's a time element put into this verse to get you and I to think urgently about doing this. But exhort one another, that's build each other up, encourage, exhort one another every day, as long as it is called today, that none of you may be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. Do it now, every day. And what are you going to do for somebody else? You will keep them from being hardened by sin. It softens our hearts to be encouraged, to be built up. And there's lots of ways to do it. I know you might be looking at me and think, well, man, you're such an extrovert and a big mouth that it probably comes a lot easier. We have so much technology at our disposal right now just to be able to put ourselves out there and say, I'm thinking about you. I'm praying for you. I just wanted to check on you. I really appreciate this about you, and I wanted to let you know. You can drop people messages in Facebook. You can direct message people through all kinds of social media. You can text. Calling is still wonderful. It's great to hear it in voice. A written sentiment is also still really effective. There is the Hebrews 10:25 that most of us reference or hear reference when we're talking about going to church. The idea, though, is not to neglect gathering ourselves together. Why is that? Verse 24, let us consider. So I got to take time to think about this, how to stir up one another to love and good works. Have you done that lately? Have you stirred somebody else up? Have you made them want it to be more loving, wanting to do good just by being around you and listening to you and the effect that you have on them? How about in verse 25, not neglecting to meet together, excuse me, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. Again, that time stamp there, because the day's coming, time is running out, and the opportunities are going away every day. Who will you encourage? Pick one person. Let's just simplify it. Pick one person every day that you're going to reach out to. And man, wouldn't it be great if it was somebody that had no idea it was coming? Somebody that least expected. It's so easy to encourage the people that we feel like we're going to get it back from. The idea here is to serve. How about Romans chapter 14 and verse 19? So then let us pursue what makes for peace and for mutual upbuilding. Chapter 15 of Romans, verse 2. Let each of us please his neighbor for his good, to build him up. Also, Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 29 makes me think, and I've got a lot of work to do in this area, and some of you know me very well and understand this, so I don't want you to think that I'm just pointing the finger at other people here and challenging just you. It's for me as well. Ephesians 4:29, let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths. Now that encompasses a whole lot. but just by people being around us, what we're talking about and what we're saying can corrupt, can hurt other people, but only such as is good for building up as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear. That's specifically talking about your speech and what comes out of your mouth. Does it build other people up? A random collection of verses here, all based on the concept of trying to get you and me to think about how I affect other people. Do I build them up? Am I going to just be one of those, what's everybody's job is nobody's job? And I think, well, they'll do that. They'll be the encourager. That's not my gift. Or am I going to take this challenge and be that for everybody else? Thank you for joining us today. For those of you on YouTube, if you have not yet already subscribed, please click this button below. It helps out our channel and our cause here. If you want to see what we released last time, it's in this corner. Over in this corner is what YouTube recommends. For our podcast listeners, we appreciate you as well. We also ask that you would subscribe, rate, and review whenever you get a chance. It helps get the word out. And everybody, share this to help somebody else.